So today we are going to discuss about a human cardiovascular system. So today we are going to learn about a human cardiovascular system, and that in detail about the structure of heart, external structure and internal structure. So in internal structure there are atria, ventricles, a nodal tissue and aortic arches. So a heart consists of 4 chambers, 2 upper smaller atria chambers and lower larger ventricle chambers, okay, and also include with a nodal tissue and aortic arches. So first of all, about the structure of the heart. So the heart is a mesodermal in origin, okay. See here, there is a lot of layers are there. So it is a thick and muscular and pulsating organ which was situated in the mediastinum, and this was apex slightly turned towards the left side. A heart normally slightly turns towards the left side. So the size of the heart is a clenched fist, our fist size, and it has a double walled pericardium. So this is the outer layer of the heart which is covered with a double walled layer. So first of all, outer fibrous pericardium, inner serous pericardium layer. So this serous pericardium is also have 2 layers, outer parietal layer, inner visceral layer, okay. So see here, this outer parietal layer and next one inner visceral layer. This outer parietal layer which was fused with the fibrous pericardium, okay. Next, this inner visceral layer which was adhered to the see here this was adhered to the heart. This was a parietal pericardium, first outer layer. So this one is a visceral pericardium which was adhered to the surface of the heart, okay. It forms a wall called or a layer. We can say it's a wall of the heart or the layer of the heart called epicardium, and the middle layer is called a myocardium, muscular layer. Next one, endocardium. These are the walls of the heart. So first of all, here in between the parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium there is a small gap or a small space, is called a pericardial space, which was filled with the fluid called pericardial fluid. So why this pericardium fluid is present in between these layers means to avoid or to reduce the friction between these 2 membranes, and also it allows a free movement of the heart, okay, free movement of the heart. That's why this pericardium fluid is placed in between these 2 layers, okay. Next one, the walls of the heart. So there are 3 walls. First of all, epicardium. This is the outer protective layer. See here, this is the heart. This is the we had taken a small part outside. So see here, these are the layers. Epicardium, outer protective layer. Here the middle one, myocardium, muscular middle layer. This one is the endocardium, which has also a endothelial linings of large blood vessels are there, which was connected to the heart. So this is a thin inner layer, okay. These are the 3 layers which is also known as the walls of the heart. Next one, external structure. Now about our external structure. So a heart has 4 chambers, 2 upper chambers. See these 2 upper chambers, atrium, and 2 lower larger chambers, ventricles, okay. These 2 are ventricles, these 2 are atrium. See, this is the right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. So these 2 ventricles, there are 2 ventricles, okay. These are the lower and larger chambers when compared to the upper chambers. Upper chambers are small, okay. 2 relatively small chambers, upper chambers called atrium and larger chambers called ventricles. So here this atrium and the ventricles are separated by a deep groove called coronary sulcus, okay, and also there is an aperture called the right and the left atrioventricular apertures. And also here these 2 atrium also separated by a interatrial septum, and these 2 ventricles also separated by interventricular septum or grooves. As well, this atrium and ventricles also separated by a coronary sulcus, or it is also called a atrioventricular grooves, okay. The muscular pouch-like projection which was comes from each atrium, it is called a auricular appendix. Okay, and these two ventricles are separated by two interventricular grooves, and it also have a lot of coronary arteries and the branches which was loaded in the ventricles. Okay, this is about a atria and the ventricle. So see here, this is the aorta, this is a superior vena cava, right pulmonary artery, pulmonary trunk, right pulmonary vein, right atrium, this fossa ovalis. And next slide we will discuss about fossa ovalis. So see here, in between the atrium and a ventricle there is a valve called tricuspid valve, and in between this left atrium and the ventricle there is a valve called mitral or bicuspid valve. Okay, so see here. So here about a deep explanation about the atria. So internal structure, in that we are going to discuss about the atrium. So normally this atrium is a upper, lower, smaller chambers. Upper chambers, lower chambers are two ventricles. Now we are going to discuss about the atrium. These are the upper and these are the smaller when compared to the ventricles. So these two atriums are separated by a thin interatrial septum. Okay, there in between these here there will be the hole called a foramen oval. Okay, there is a small pore called foramen oval, from where this was open in fetal stage. When the lungs become functional, this was automatically, it was closed. So it represented by a depression in the septum between the right and the left atrium called fossa ovalis. Okay, see here, this is a, if it was closed, it does not close properly. If it is closed, it is a normal. If it does not close, it is called a patent foramen oval. Okay, this right atrium receives, see here, this right atrium receives a deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body except the lung through two caval veins. Okay, so here this right atrium will receive a deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body through two caval veins. Okay, here the caval vein is there, here also a caval vein is there. So these two caval veins, one is a precaval vein, superior vena cava, and next one is postcaval vein. So this was present in downside. Precaval vein is this and postcaval vein, it is here. So first of all, this precaval vein, what it do means, it is also known as a superior vena cava. So it collects the blood from the upper parts like head, forelimb, thoracic region. It carries a deoxygenated blood from that part, it sends to the heart. Okay, through a vein called precaval vein. Next, these postcaval vein, what it do, it collects the bloods from the lower body parts like hind limb and abdominal organs, and it carries the deoxygenated blood and it passes to the right atrium. It carries the deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body. Okay, this is about a foramen oval. Okay, so this heart is also receiving a blood from the myocardium. Myocardium means it's a wall of the heart, it's a middle part, muscular part, it is called a myocardium. It receives blood through a coronary sinus which was open into the right atrium. Okay, which was open into the right atrium. So it is guarded by, see, this is a Thebasian wall. Okay, here it is a Thebasian wall. Next, opening of the postcaval vein. This is guarded by the inferior vena cava called Eustachian wall. It directs the blood to the left ventricle through a foramen oval in the fetal stage, but in adult it becomes rudimentary or non-functional. So the opening of the precaval vein in the right atrium has no wall. What happened before this hole is there, no, foramen ovalis, this was open. Normally in the first stage it was open. When the lungs become functional, so this hole will be automatically closed. Okay, what happened if this hole was open at the time, it carries a deoxygenated blood from this vein and it passes to the atrium. Okay, it passes to this deoxygenated blood through this hole and passes to the atrium. but after that it closes, it become non-functional. Then the right atrium has a no wall. Okay, it was closed now, that's why there is a no wall. Then the left atrium receives through two pulmonary veins. So here what happened, normally when the hole was open, it carries the deoxygenated from this post vein and it passes through this hole and it sent to the left atrium. But after this hole was closed, what happened, it sends the deoxygenated blood from these two pulmonary veins which was present and connected to the left atrium. At the up of this, see here, this is a pulmonary veins which was attached to the left atrium. Okay, there is a valve in between the atrium and ventricles. It is called bicuspid valve. Okay, next one about our ventricles. So here these are the lower larger chambers. So what happened here, this was a thick, okay, this was thicker, this was a thicker. In this, which one is thicker means left ventricle is thicker. Okay, left ventricle is thicker when compared to the right one. So the inner surfaces of the ventricles is raised into the muscular ridges column called, see here, this was a muscular, see this one is a muscular, this is called a trabeculae corneae. Okay, these muscles, see this one and this one is a muscular, so it is called trabeculae cornea or columnae corneae, which was attached to some of the ridges. See here, so this was attached to some of the ridges. See here, this was some are large and some are larger, some are conical, uneven shapes are there. So this is called, see this one, large, small, this is called a papillary muscle. Okay, which was attached to the columnae corneae. Okay, next, whose apex, these pulmonary muscles which was connected with the strings called heartstrings or chordae tendinae. Okay, see here, where this is the heartstrings. First of all, this is a muscle, it was called a muscular ridges, it is called a columnae corneae. This was a muscle, columnae corneae, and this was connected to a pulmonary muscle. These pulmonary muscles which was papillary muscles, papillary muscles which was connected to here are the heartstrings. It is also known as a cardia tendinae. Okay, there are a cord-like collineous process that connects to the pulmonary muscles to the, see here, to the muscles. So this was connected to the muscles and the valves called mitral bicuspid valve or tricuspid valve in the heart. So see here, it was connected to the tricuspid valve and here it was connected to the bicuspid valve. So they prevent the cups of the atrioventricular valves from bulging too far into the atria during the ventricular systole. So this is all about the ventricles. Okay, see here, this is the aorta, superior vena cava. This is a pulmonary artery. This is a pulmonary trunk. See here, this is the left pulmonary artery where deoxygenated blood was passed to the left atrium. So this is the left atrium, right atrium, ventricles. This muscle is called trabeculae corneae. Here it is called papillary muscle. It connected to the strings called heartstrings. See here, these are the layers. First of all, it was outside, it was epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. Okay, these are all about the heart. Okay, there are their veins called superior precaval vein, postcaval vein is also known as inferior vena cava, superior vena cava. So this is about ventricles. Okay, so now about a nodal tissue which is also present in the heart. First of all, SA node means sinoatrial node, which was present at the right atrium upper side. Okay, this is normally a nodal tissue is a cardiac musculature, a specified cardiac musculature called a nodal tissue. Okay, it was distributed in the heart. So here the patch of the tissue, see this is the patch of the tissue, it is called a sinoatrium node. It was present at the upper right corner of the right atrium near the opening of superior, see here, near the opening of the superior vena cava. Another mass of the tissue, it is called AV node. It is a full form atrioventricular node which was present at the corner of the right atrium at interatrial septum. Okay, interatrial septum and close to the opening of the coronary sinus. So here it is electrically connects the atrial and ventricle chambers. See here, this was electrically connects to the atrium and ventricle chamber. Okay, so here there are a bundle of nodal fibers are there. It's called atrioventricular. See, lot of bundle fibers are there which was connected and passes through the ventricles. So there are also divided into a lot of bunches are there. So they divided into left bundle branch and right bundle branch. These bundle branches are all fibers are arranged towards and pass through and covers all the ventricles. Okay, divided into right and left bundle branches. So there are the minute fibers which was extend throughout the ventricular musculature and the wall respectively. Okay, see here, first of all, here this is a sinoatrial node which was present upside. Next one, atrioventricular node which was connected to the atrium and the ventricle, where there are a lot of the bundle of his are there. So left and right, this was connected, passes a lot of fibers and it continues and passes throughout the ventricles. So these fibers are called Purkinje fibers. So this is all about the nodal tissue which it was present in a heart. Okay, it is a specified cardiac musculature. So this is called a nodal tissue. Next one, we are going to discuss about aortic arches. So here the pulmonary arch is there. There are two arches, pulmonary arch and systemic arch. So here the pulmonary arch was present at the right ventricle. So we have two ventricles, right and left. So this pulmonary arch was present at the right ventricle. They have at the left anterior angle of the right ventricle, and it was guarded by a pulmonary wall. So what it carries, pulmonary arch, it carries a deoxygenated blood to lungs. Okay, whereas systemic arch, it was present, arises from the left ventricle. It transports the oxygenated blood to different parts of the body through the branches, and it was guarded by the aortic wall. Okay, so first of all, pulmonary is there and systemic is there, systemic arch is there. So these pulmonary arch, pulmonary means we have to remember the deoxygenated blood, it was passing to the lungs, whereas systemic means oxygenated blood which was passed to the different parts of the body. Okay, this was guided by the aortic wall. So here this pulmonary and the aortic walls are made up of three semilunar flaps each. Okay, here the fibrous strand is there, known as a ligamentous arteriosum, is present at the point of contact of systemic and pulmonary arch. So this was ligamentum arteriosum which was present at the point of contact in between the systemic and pulmonary arch. In embryonic stage, what happened, this ductus arteriosus which was connected to the systemic and pulmonary arch in embryonic stage, but after that it was connected with a ligamentum arteriosum which was a fibrous strand. So this is about aortic arches. Okay, there are two, pulmonary and systemic arch. Okay, so this is overview of a heart. So normally a heart has four chambers. First of all, atrium, ventricles. Okay, see, we have discussed about the systemic arch which was present at the left side and right side. Okay, here only these are present in the ventricles only. So first of all, this is the aorta, where oxygenated blood was passed to the different parts of the body through the aorta. Okay, so here the left pulmonary artery, left atrium, left pulmonary vein. So in between this atrium, there are two atriums. Okay, right and left. So in between this is connected by interatrium septum. So this ventricles also connected by interventricular septum. These two are separated by or connected by or separated by atrioventricular septum or coronary cells. Okay, and in between the atria and ventricle of the left side, it was having a mitral bicuspid wall, whereas right atrium and right ventricle, it was having a tricuspid wall. Okay, so in ventricles, see the left side of the ventricle and the right side of the ventricle. So here, first of all, the muscle is there. Muscle is called trabecular carneae, which was connected to the papillary muscles, and this papillary muscles was connected to the strings called heart strings. See, this was the strings which was connected to the mitral bicuspid, and here in the right side it was connected to the tricuspid wall. So there are two vena cava. This is a superior vena cava. Inferior vena cava is also known as a pre-vein or post-caval vein. Okay, so it was outside of the layer. So here epicardium, the walls of the heart, epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. The outside it was covered by, above the epicardium, it was covered by layers. Okay, first of all, outer fibrous and serous. In this serous also there are two types are there. Okay, two layers are there. The serous, inner serous is also covered with it was also a double layer. Okay, this is all about the heart. Thank you, hope you understand.